Welcome to Timekeeping. This show will attempt to chronicle year-by-year changes to the Walt Disney World Resort, from exciting new ride openings to the minutia of a store changing names. Join us as we count down to the 50th anniversary of the vacation kingdom of the world. The Walt Disney World Resort would hit a milestone in 1986. Not only was it the resort's 15th anniversary, celebrated in a big way, but it would also mark a change in the very fabric of what a Disney World attraction would be moving forward. Epcot Center would become the complete version many fans are nostalgic for, with Frank Wells and Michael Eisner here to change the world. At the Magic Kingdom, Main Street stores would see a few changes in 1986. The New Century Clock Shop would close in April. The Holiday Corner and the Cup and Saucer both closed around the same time, and all three would be incorporated into other shops. The Main Street Bakery began to be referred to as the Main Street Bakery and Cookie Shop. The Hospitality House appears to have reopened solely to take same-day dining reservations. The Adventureland kiosk was renamed Buona Bob's. In Frontierland, Bearly Country opened at the Country Bear Jamboree exit, and a second Woodcarvers was opened, as was the Frontierland Churro Cart. Speaking of the Country Bears, one of the most noted and at the same time somehow forgotten changes in Magic Kingdom history was the Vacation Hoedown show coming to the Country Bear Jamboree. After 2 successful seasons of the Christmas version, the original attraction would be fully replaced with a more modern, vacation-themed show. Like the Christmas program, the characters would appear in new attire such as camp t-shirts, rain gear, swimsuits, and even the inexplicable Elvis regalia on liver lips. The song lineup included The Great Outdoors, which also appeared in a famous Disney sing-along songs number you probably all remember, Life's No Picnic Without You, On the Road Again, We Can Make It to the Top, California Bears, Two Different Worlds, in which Shaker sang about how his relationship with an octopus would never work, Rocky Top, Nature, Singin' in the Rain, Ghost Riders in the Sky, On My Way to Your Heart, and of course, Thank God I'm a Country Bear. Of course, some of these were parodies of quote-unquote more contemporary hits, such as the Beach Boys' California Girls and John Denver's Thank God I'm a Country Boy. In Liberty Square, another opening day favorite received an update as the Diamond Horseshoe Revue became the Diamond Horseshoe Jamboree. The new show opened on October 1st. It featured Sam the bartender, Miss Lily, and a cast of cowboys and dancers. Lafayette's Perfumerie would be incorporated into Old World Antiques, and the Baked Potato Wagon and Silhouette Cart were added. In Fantasyland, on October 26th, Gurgi's Munchies and Crunchies replaced the Lancers Inn, and yes, it was themed to the character from Disney's The Black Cauldron. With the closure of the Holiday Corner, Mickey's Christmas Carol would replace Merlin's Magic Shop. As part of the 15th anniversary celebration, the 15th birthday parade premiered at the Magic Kingdom on October 1st. The parade kicked off with Mickey and Minnie on a float bearing the 15th anniversary logo and dressed like extras on Miami Vice. Next came dancers, followed by guests of the day in a Chevy Cavalier that they had won. Next came characters accompanying a birthday present float slowly leaking helium balloons. Followed by roller skaters and a float with Chip, Dale, Tigger, Brer Bear, and the Big Bad Wolf as a rock band. It was a thing. Next came another birthday present float, a float with Donald and Daisy surrounded by smaller presents, and another larger present float. Next came the Country Bears on a Baker's Kitchen float. Finally, the parade ended with Goofy and a bunch of dancers on what would become a very familiar Crystal Castle float. The guest of the day was chosen at random as part of a year-long giveaway. Every 15 seconds, a guest entering through the turnstiles of one of the parks would win a prize. These could range from pins, to video cassettes, to savings bonds, to park tickets, or once every day, a new car or cruise. The cars were either the Chevy Cavalier, as seen in the parade, or an S10 pickup. The cruise was a partnership with Premier Cruise Lines, who ran the Big Red Boat, offering Disney-themed cruises starting in 1985. The 15th anniversary celebration was kicked off in an event celebrating the bicentennial of the U.S. Constitution, which was hosted by Chief Justice Warren Burger. It also included appearances by Dolly Parton and Ray Charles. Epcot would see massive changes to Future World. The park's icon, Spaceship Earth, would undergo an update. World-renowned news anchor Walter Cronkite took over the narration, while few scenes in the ride were changed. The opening ascent saw the fog machine replaced with a Starfield, and the 2 scenes featuring a boy at home with a computer and a woman in a modern office were added near the top, while the beloved theme song Tomorrow's Child was added to the descent along with videos of children. All these changes took place over just 3 days in May. The Magic Eye Theater at the Imagination Pavilion received a new film, the 17-minute-long Captain EO, on September 12th. Written by George Lucas, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and starring Michael Jackson and Angelica Houston, Captain EO would become a blueprint for the Eisner-era infusion of celebrities into the parks. The film tells the story of Captain EO and the ragtag crew of his spaceship on a mission to deliver a gift to the Supreme Leader, who lives on a world of rotting, twisted metal and steaming vents. Captain EO's alien crew consists of his small flying sidekick Fuzzball, the double-headed navigator and pilot Idy and Odie, robotic security officer Major Domo, a small robot Minor Domo, and the clumsy elephant-like shipmate Hooter, who always manages to upset the crew's missions. Upon arriving on the planet, the crew is captured by the henchmen of the Supreme Leader and brought before her. She sentences the crew to be turned into trash cans and Captain EO to 100 years of torture in her deepest dungeon. Before being sent away, Captain EO tells the Supreme Leader that he sees the beauty hidden within her, and then he brings her the key to unlock it, his song, "We Are Here to Change the World." The two robot members of the crew transform into musical instruments, and the crew members begin to play the various instruments. As Hooter runs towards his instrument, he trips over EO's cape and breaks it, stopping the music. The spell broken, the Supreme Leader orders her guards to capture EO and his crew. Hooter manages to repair his instrument and sends out a blast of music, providing EO with the power to throw off the guards. He uses his power to transform the dark hulking guards into agile dancers who fall into step behind him for a dance number, which leads, of course, to the song. The Supreme Leader unleashes her Whip Warriors, two cybernetic defenders, each with a whip and shield that can deflect EO's powers. The others all run away, leaving EO to fight the Whip Warriors alone. EO is trapped by a closing gate and prepares for a last stand as both the Whip Warriors draw their whips back for a final blow. Fuzzball drops his instrument and speedily flies over to tie the two whips together, causing the Whip Warriors to be thrown off balance and giving EO the opportunity to transform them as well. With no further obstacles, EO uses his powers to transform the remaining 4 henchmen who are not yet unleashed, and they, the transformed Whip Warriors and other dancers, press forward and dance. Captain EO then flies up to the Supreme Leader and transforms her into a beautiful woman, her lair into a peaceful Greek temple, and the planet into a paradise. A celebration breaks out into another original song, Another Part of Me, as Captain EO and his crew triumphantly dance to the exit and fly off into space, ending the unforgettable film. Captain EO made full use of its 3D effects. The action on screen extended into the audience, including asteroids, lasers, laser impacts, smoke effects, and star fields that filled the theater. These effects resulted in the 17-minute film costing an estimated $30 million to produce. At the time, it was the most expensive film ever produced on a per-minute basis, averaging about $1.76 million per minute. The film would also run at Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. Originally intended as an opening day attraction, The Living Seas, sponsored by United Technologies, finally opened on January 15th. The experience began in a dark, winding queue that highlighted real and fictional ocean exploration and led to a holding room where projections played as a narrator discussed exploring the seas before letting guests into a theater for the 7-minute The Seas film. After the film, guests exited into a room where they would board the hydrolators, simulated deep-sea elevators that would take them down to Seabase Alpha. Once out of the hydrolators, guests would then board the Sea Cabs, an omnimover-type vehicle that would take them through what was then the world's largest saltwater tank. After exiting, guests were free to enjoy the exhibits in the 2-story Seabase Alpha area that featured a lockout dive chamber, a wave tank, various sea life including the beloved manatees, a short film, an animated atlas of the world, a deep-sea exploration robot named Jason, and several small exhibits discussing ocean ecosystems. Guests would then be encouraged to exit through a second set of hydrolators. The Coral Reef restaurant that looked out into the main tank opened at the same time and had a separate entrance as it does today. At the Land Pavilion, the Good Turn became the Land Grill Room on May 14th. The art exhibit in Mexico became Splendors of the Golden Age, 3 centuries of Spanish colonial art, and Fiesta Fashions opened in the area that is now La Cava del Tequila. In Japan, the art exhibit was updated to become Feather on the Wind, the Art of Japanese Kites. The Magic of Wales, featuring Welsh gifts, took over the Country Manor in the United Kingdom. Le Cellier in Canada would begin table service dinners while keeping the buffeteria style for lunch. Construction also began on the Norway Pavilion, which broke ground this year. In February, the golf resort would change its name to the Disney Inn in order to appeal to a broader array of guests. This came with an additional 150 rooms, as well as a Snow White theme. Just across the street, construction on the Grand Floridian broke ground on April 23rd. Over at the Polynesian, room renovations wrapped up, as did work on Trader Jack's and Village Gifts. Landscaping changed to add more palms and koi's in the pond. January saw a new marina building, a guest laundry area, and a concierge lounge. The Contemporary also saw a remodeling. The lobby and Grand Canyon concourse were updated along with the rooms. The rooms were redone with a residential feel featuring black granite sinks, newly tiled balconies, and bleached oak furniture. The Fantasia shop and Plaza Gifts and Sundries were merged into a shop simply known as Fantasia. Concourse Sundries and Spirits replaced the old Spirit World liquor store. These changes were in service of an expanding resort. And in May, Bob Hope hosted the groundbreaking ceremony of the Disney MGM Studios, then set to open in 1988. Work also began on Pleasure Island near the Disney Village. Over at Fort Wilderness, Pioneer Hall received a breakfast show, the Melvin the Moose Breakfast Show, also known as the Country Morning Jamboree. Melvin would host the show featuring Chip and Dale dressed as cowboys and human Cindy Lou, the Professor, and Alabama. Like a kid-targeted hoop-de-doo review, the show featured a mix of musical numbers and comedy, with a break while guests ate family-style dining. During the meal, Chip and Dale cartoons were played. The grand finale was a kazoo-along, where every guest was given a kazoo to take home, much to the chagrin of parents. The Walt Disney World Resort took huge steps forward in 1986. Epcot Center added attractions to attract a modern crowd, and it worked. The Magic Kingdom celebrated its history, but proved it wasn't stuck in it. And the resort as a whole began the construction projects that would propel it through the rest of the 1980s and into the 1990s. These projects would take years, but Disney would not sit still waiting for them to be completed. Well, time flies. Enjoying your trip from time to time with us? Well, please hit that like button and subscribe to support this show and others. You could also support us by joining the WDWNT Inner Globe Society for exclusive content at patreon.com/WDWNT. If you're looking for the perfect gear to celebrate 50 years of Walt Disney World, you can shop for apparel, accessories, and more at carouselofproducts.com. We'll see you real soon here on Timekeeping.